Hi, this is James again, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And if you would, hit my Cash App. Bless my Cash App so I can get more acrylic paint, masking tape, and paintbrushes. It's for my art, okay? So it's going for a worthy cause, okay? This one is called Heartbreak Hotel. Yes, look, I've worked in the hospitality business for 13 years, 13 years, and I've been working 14 years over at the libraries, So I've got a long background of hospitality, you know. Well, this wasn't too hospitable here. We had instances where we had to arrest people. This is when I was working security. So, because when I first started at the hotel, I was doing security. And then I ended up manager on duty, okay? But before I became manager, I've had a lot of heartbreak, okay? All right. First of all, it's this guy. This guy started coming in the hotel, wreaking havoc. He kept coming in. We had to put him out. He kept coming in, had to put him out. He kept robbing guests and stuff like that. So we put notices out to apprehend this guy, okay? One day I was coming out the hotel, just walking out there, just getting ready to walk around the hotel, So I came out of the hotel and there he was, okay? He was coming out of the hotel. So I said, hey, come here. And he started running. And when this guy took off, it was like a crackhead running. He was crackhead fast, okay? And I had just bought a bottle of Sprite, a little bottle of Sprite out of the machine, And I started chasing him. And he got a long lead on me. And I can run pretty fast, But this guy took off like lightning. So he was running, kept running. Then I started slowing down. And I just took the bottle and I said, shh. And I threw it like half a block. And it came down and hit him right in the top of his head. It exploded. And it brought him to his knees. And I was able to catch him. I brought him into security he had little blood and Sprite coming down his head. Yep. That was a crazy time, That was a crazy time. But I caught him, though, and he went to jail. It's crazy that I was able to hit him from that far, But, hey, if it works, if it stopped him, hey, that's it. And the homeless, it was a lot of homeless people because this was circulating in the downtown area. It was a lot of homeless people in there, okay? So one day, one of the security told me that somebody was in one of the closets. We had closets in the hallways. On each floor was a closet over there, and they just used to have bed mattresses in there, like the fold-up beds, pillows, and everything in there in the closets, So the homeless, when it got cold outside, they would come inside and they would get in a closet and try to sleep, So one day I was checking the floors and I was checking each closet. I got up to like the 11th floor and was checking the closet. And way up at the top, on the top of a mattress, was a foot. I saw it. And I said, I grab his leg.
Let me go, man. Let me go.
a tussle ensued, and it took me 5 minutes to get him cuffed and stuff like that. And I got him out of there, you know. That was crazy because he could have jumped down on me without me knowing, you know. But I guess I came up on him when he was dead asleep, you know. Okay. Then it was this big guy at the bar. He was being disruptive. He was a black guy too. And he was cursing out everybody that came there. He told everybody he can buy them and stuff like that. I can buy you, you know. So a manager went to him and told him, you disturbing people. Shut up, man. I can buy you. So then security was called. And I was a supervisor at the time. So it's generally the first guy to get to him. So I got up there and say, sir, you being disruptive, you're going to have to leave. Get up. He told me he can buy me. I can buy you. Boy, what you think this is? Take money out, throwing it out like that. And I said, no, that's it. You got to get up. You got to get up. So I got behind him, and it was another one of my officers came out there. He said, and you get out my face. And he poked him. And now he touched somebody. So now I said, you got to get up. So I was taking his arms to get him up, and he started getting up. And then I got a chokehold on him, and he stood up, and my feet left the floor. He was tall and big. So I knew I couldn't let him go. I couldn't let him go. So I was on his back, and he was going around in circles trying to get me off his back. But I was tight back there. I had a chokehold real tight. And I put my legs around his body and just locked onto his neck. And then eventually he collapsed to the ground. And I fell on his back. And then all the other officers came out and piled on. And we got his arms behind his back and got him cuffed up, you know. See, people don't think that this happens at hotels, but this stuff does happen, you know. It does happen, you know. Yeah. So then there's the mace man. This mace man, he had like about 6 or 7 things of mace on him. And he had sprayed a security that works across the street, you know, at another hotel. He sprayed a security officer from telling him to leave the building, and he sprayed him. So we got intel of him doing that. So it was circulating all around that this guy had mace. And so one day, it was like one night, it was kind of late, you know, and I was making sure everybody was out the hotel because I was locking all of the doors around the hotel, and the guests had to come in through the main entrance, you know, but all the doors around the perimeter of the hotel was locked, you know. So I had to lock those, and then I was locking one door, and the mace man was in there. So I kind of snuck on my radio and say, hey, we got the mace man over here. Send some officers over here. And he said, well, what you calling? Who you calling on me? I said, ain't nobody calling nobody. I said, hey man, what's the problem, man? Look, just leave. And I was just talking real nice to him until then I pounced on him before he got a chance to get in his pocket and get his mace. But he was trying to go in his pocket to pull it out, you know, but I had his arms locked. You know, I had him locked, you know. Let me go. And needless to say, we got off of him 9 bottles of mace. Like this. The kind that you spray. So man, he could have got me, but he would have had to get me soon as I came out, you know, as soon as I came out there, but he didn't do it. Then it was this lady. This lady was in the gift shop, and the gift shop had a lot of this uh the hotel memorabilia and stuff like that. It had a lot of stuff, and they was pretty expensive too. They were pretty expensive. So they was standing in there. They were standing in there, and the person that was working there ended up calling security. She said, "This lady is stealing out of here." You know, she's stealing. You know, so I came to the doorway, and I looked in there. And when she came out, I said, "Excuse me, ma'am. Come here, ma'am. Look, you've been observed stealing. You know, can I look in your bag?" And immediately she got hostile with me. She got hostile, like a Karen, you know. So she just went crazy, talking about, "No, nobody check my bag. Nobody check my bag." I said, "Okay, ma'am." And I had her arm. And then she got mad because I was holding her arm. And then she kept trying to get out the door. And she was kind of heavy, if I can say, you know. She was kind of heavy. And I had her arm, and I said, "Look, don't go out this door." And there was a guy with her. So that's why I was trying to watch him and watch her. So the guy went out the door and started screaming, "Police brutality." I said, you talking about the police? I'm security. I'm not a police. So how's it police brutality? And he said, "Well, security brutality. Security brutality." So we ended up getting out the door, out onto the street. And then that's when she called herself trying to kick me between the legs. She tried to kick me between the legs. And I said, "I'm going to put you, if you do that again, I'm going to put you on the ground." But she tried it again and missed again. And then I just threw it down on the ground, and I took her purse, took her bag from her, you know, and it had goo gobs of stuff from out the gift shop, you know. So I got her, and then my friend Rifleman came out, and she was trying to get up, and he laid the hammer on her, you know. And then she went down and started screaming and calling us names and everything. And then when the ambulance came to get, well, they called the ambulance for her because I threw her to the ground, all right? So the ambulance came and the police came. When they put her on a gurney, on a stretcher, and a police officer was over there talking, and she bit one of their hands. She bit their hand. Bit him good, too. She bit him so good, he said, "Bam!" He hit her right in the stomach. And that was it. That was it. And she did jail time, too, for assault on an officer and stealing and everything like that. So that was it with that. Then there was the running man. The running man used to get away from us all the time because he had crackhead speed, you know. So he would take off real quick. He would come into restaurants and take something and then run, you know. So everybody was trying to get the running man, okay? So one day I was going in, the restaurant was closed, okay? But he had got in there. He got inside the hotel. And, you know, the bench style seats. The bench style seats. He had laid down on one of those. And he was laying there sleep. I don't know. I guess he was trying to stay in the hotel till they locked up. But when I found out he was in there, one of the cleaners, the night cleaners, came to me and said, "There's a guy in there asleep." I went in there, and I was face to face with the running man, but he was asleep. So I walked up to him and I took his arm. I put a cuff on it and was getting ready to put it on the other hand, and he woke up. When he woke up, his legs was going like this, like he was running. But he wasn't getting away then. When I put one cuff on him, it was a battle in there. We tore that restaurant up, you know. But I finally got him down and cuffed him. And then when I was taking him out, he said, "I'll be back again. You ain't gonna get the drop on me next time." Yeah. And last but not least is Nubs. Yeah. Nubs was a homeless guy, but he was notorious because he was very aggressive homeless guy. He would ask for money and he wouldn't take no for an answer. You had to give him 50 cents or something. But Nubs was notorious, but Nubs didn't have fingers. His fingers were cut off all the way down here. So his hand looked like a glove, you know. And if he hit you, it didn't hurt. I figured that out. Because one time when I was trying to catch him, he swung his hand and it felt like a wet sock. It wasn't nothing. So everybody was kind of scared of him because he looked kind of scary, like, you know, but his hands they couldn't do nothing, you know. So one day, Nubs got in the hotel and security was trying to get him out. So he was running around and stuff like that. Then he ran into me. I was coming out a doorway and he was coming my way and ended up almost crashing into me. And I grabbed him. And Nubs started. I said, "Man, what are you doing? What are you doing?" Threw him down. And I cuffed him, and he slid his hand right out of there. So I had to kind of cuff him up, and cuff him to his belt in the back, his belt loop, and he went to jail. But after that, after I left the hotel in 2009. After I wasn't working there no more, I ran into Nubs, okay? And he talked to me intelligent, you know. He said, "Man, I know I was crazy, you know. I know I was crazy around there, you know, but man, I'm sorry. Nubs was actually an intelligent guy, but when he get on that crack, he get crazy, you know. So yeah, it was a lot of millions of things that happened at the hotel, you know. Stuff when I was security, but when I was a manager, stuff still kept happening. It was a lot of stuff that happened there, but I take it as a learning experience. And if it happened again, I would do it all over again, you know. I would do it all over, you know. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. And share, share, share. Please share my videos with everyone. Share them with your family, your friends, okay? Share my videos with everyone so that everyone can get this experience, okay? All right. Peace. Adios. Salamat.